pretty well, and even performance wise it's held up pretty well. I mean, like iOS 14 I think has slowed down a lot of these older iPhones, and I even made a separate video talking about it, but I think as a whole a lot of people are okay with the performance side of things. I think it's the stability issue that a lot of people have problems with, but like I said, this is kind of a temporary thing. As time progresses, it's going to be getting better and better each day, each update. Every time we get a new update, it's going to be getting more and more stable, and I think by the time iOS 14.2 comes out or something, we'll have a very stable version of iOS 14, and with that Apple A11 Bionic chip inside of it, you have a really decent set of performance in it. I mean, the iPhone SE2 that just came out has that A13 chip, and yeah, it's better, but I still think the iPhone 8 can still handle a lot of things that you throw at it. I think the RAM may be the one thing that may eventually kind of, not slow it down, but have the biggest differences between this iPhone and maybe the newer iPhones and even the iPhone 12s that are coming out. At some point, Apple is going to add 6 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of RAM and all that stuff, and even though the iPhone 8 is pretty smooth, I feel like a lot of people, including me, of course I'm going to do those speed comparisons, but we're going to compare an iPhone 8 with 2 gigs of RAM compared to an iPhone 13 with 6 gigs or 8 gigs of RAM, and we're going to see that on paper and see, wow, this thing has 4 times the amount of RAM, so it's probably 4 times as better. And that's not necessarily always the case. There were times where like an iPhone XS, for example, would crash out on an app in the background, or even my iPhone 11 Pro, I think, would hang apps in the background and wouldn't open them up properly, but like my iPhone 7 Plus could, or my iPhone 8 could, or something like that. So those were always weird experiences, but I think at the end of the day, the performance aspect on the iPhone 8 in the later part of 2020 is probably going to be okay for a majority of people. It's not going to be the best, but I think it's going to be okay for a lot of people. Now, ending off with the battery life,